Hey there, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the dumbbell bent over row, and we're going to be taking a supinated grip. This is an incredible exercise for your back muscles, and I highly recommend you guys do it. Just make sure you do it correctly and that you focus on the areas that you're trying to train. So the first thing you're going to want to do is stand around inside shoulder width apart, and then what you want to do is bend over at around the 45-degree angle with your torso, with your elbows tucked in. Do not allow your elbows to flare out. Try to keep them as tucked in as you can with this variation. And like I said, you want to bend over at around a 45-degree angle or until your hands go underneath your knees. Then from that position, you want to make sure you keep your chin tucked and your back straight. And then you want to actually drive the elbows up towards the ceiling and squeeze your back and allowing it to go through a full range of motion by extending your arms at the bottom and then contracting your back at the top. But before we continue, here's a word from today's video sponsor.
I'm today's video sponsor, and if you'd like help losing fat or gaining muscle, there are a few ways I can help you down below. Either set up a free consultation with us, purchase through one of our free affiliate links, or purchase one of our instant access affordable training programs. Can't wait to be of service to you. Now let's get back to the rest of the video.
Now that we've done that, talked about the basics for the most part, let's go into more detail about how you want to be training your back in this variation. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you're allowing the scapula to move freely, meaning that you're allowing the scapula to protract and retract. By protract, I mean you allow the muscles to stretch at the bottom of the position and that you allow the muscles to contract at the top of the position. So basically what I mean by scapular protraction is allowing your shoulders to kind of like droop down, if that's the best way to put it, when you're going down. And what that's going to do is going to stretch your back, and you're going to feel the upper back stretch. And then when you're driving the elbows up and squeezing your back, you want to think about driving your shoulders towards the ceiling as you do it, in addition to your elbows obviously. But you want to make sure that you're focusing on that, because if not, this exercise starts becoming less and less effective, because that's the main motion that you want to be training. Your arms are just connecting weight to that specific range of motion. The other thing you want to be thinking about is making sure that you're keeping your lower back flat. That's crucial when it comes to doing these bent over rows, because if you start rounding your lower back, you're going to start increasing the chances of injury, and it's also going to be less effective because you're not going to be able to increase in resistance or weight as often as you should in order to keep the muscles stimulated. Another thing you want to do is make sure that you keep your chin tucked. You don't want to be looking up when you're doing this variation or any bent over row variation, in my opinion, because you're going to start placing an unnecessary amount of stress on your neck, when you're not supposed to be training your neck really when you're doing this. This is a back exercise. Also make sure you're doing it in a nice, slow, and controlled fashion. Now let's get into the mistakes that you want to avoid. The first one is limited range of motion. You don't want to be doing limited range of motion at the top or the bottom. You just want to make sure you're going all the way up and down. And you also want to make sure that you're not standing up as you're lifting the weight to squeeze your back. You want your torso to stay at the same angle. Also make sure your back is not rounded like this. You want it nice and straight. And also make sure that you're not allowing your chin to look up like this. Keep your chin tucked the whole time. That way you don't place unnecessary stress on your neck. And also keep your elbows in. Do not allow them to flare out.